Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what is the fastest you have ever seen a new co-worker get fired? As a teenager, I worked at a bowling alley. Within an hour, a new girl was fired on the spot for dropping a ball on the foot of a complaining patron. Fired on her first strike. Spare me the bowling puns. Was this on purpose or accident? Purposely. 4 or so hours. When I was 18, I got a job at a grocery store, along with 3 others. We all started training together. On the first day we were training in the evening, and one girl asked to go home. She said her head hurt. They said fine. She clocked out, went to grab a grocery cart and started filling it with beer and liquor. The store manager walked over, and asked her if she was having a party. She said yes. Didn't even try to come up with an excuse. Just, yeah, I am, so I needed to leave early on my first day. Basically. He fired her. Do I still get the employee discount? Sure, but since you're no longer an employee it'll get reversed. Plus 10%. This one just gets me because all she had to do was go to a different store. There had to be another store / liquor store nearby. All she had to do is have a different brain too. Guy slept through 2 meetings on his first day. The second meeting he started snoring. Knew a very senior engineer who would routinely do this, but when you threw a question at him, he answered it without even opening his eyes. Not sure how he managed that. I get really sleepy in long meetings when the room is warm, always, and I don't get to talk much. I don't realize I'm drifting off. I can still answer questions though, and I am usually the one taking the minutes, which always come out perfect, so people sorta have gotten used to it. One of our better programmers sleeps through meetings regularly. Partially passive-aggressive bullshit, partly because he works so many hours that he needs getting an occasional break from the stress. At one company, the best hardware design engineer left every day right at 5 o'clock, and usually took a short nap after lunch, too. But when he was working, he outproduced the other engineers and delivered better designs, too. I followed my boss one day when he went to ask him a question. The boss saw he had his head down on his folded arms, turned to me with his finger on his lips, and quietly backed out and closed his office door. In Japan, he would be considered a model employee. Edit, some reading material. He didn't show up the first day, second day, or third day. I had to work a double shift for 3 days straight. Not fun. I answered the phone when he finally called in on the 4th day. He said, "I'm going to be honest with you, I've been in Orlando. My parents paid for a small vacation as a reward for getting the job. Would it be okay to start next week instead of this week?" What better way to celebrate the end of unemployment than taking a little break from work? I worked at a hotel. A good housekeeper got her cousin hired, so they had a party. Cousin was found asleep in a bed on her first day, fired instantly. Guy got hired, went through training and all that jazz. First day on the floor, he disappeared for 3 hours and then came back high as fuck on like meth or something. A manager found him in the bathroom aisle, staring at himself in the mirror. Said manager looked at the cameras after firing him. The guy was there staring at himself for at least 30+ minutes. Edit to clear up some questions. I worked at Home Depot. He was in the aisle where we sell bathroom countertops and medicine cabinets. We also have mirrors in this aisle, and that's where he was. Not in the bathroom, haha. Shrooms are the original face-changing app. Edit, I am now 7x my karma after a year on Reddit. Thanks for the wonderful words. Before their first day on orientation, I got hired for a manufacturing job through Manpower, a temp agency. Me and a friend of my wife were both supposed to start on Monday at the plant for a week-long orientation. She got into a fender bender on her way to orientation, and called them to say that she'd be a bit late, that she just needed to wait on the police to give a statement. The manager told her not to bother ever coming in. Girl was torn up. She took pictures and the police report into the hiring manager, tried to explain things to the company, our managers, but no dice. She was fired before ever clocking in. Blessing in disguise. Those people sound like absolute cocksuckers to work for. Yeah, my ex got a few gigs through a temp agency, and one of my best friends works for another one. For the agency itself, she is not a temp. I can't say all companies that use temp agencies are scum to work for, but I've noticed a trend. Oh man, that stinks. It was out of her control, mostly. That's fucked up. Making it up would be one thing, but pictures and police report should at least have gotten her a second chance. That is fucked up. Having pictures usually gets you off the hook. I've been sending my boss the same picture of a freight train blocking the road for years so I can get breakfast if I'm hangover. 3 hours into the first shift. Guy lost it serving an annoying customer in a grocery shop, throw a cabbage at her. The manager came and told him to go home cause he finished there. He wasn't surprised. I was standing next to him, it was an entertaining day. Did she deserve the cabbage? As a grocery store employee, they all deserve the cabbage. My cabbages. Worked in a grocery store for a while, new guy took a lobster out of the tank and removed the elastic bands on its claws, then proceeded to put it back in the tank. The thing murdered all the other lobsters in the tank. I was halfway expecting a theft attempt by putting said live and free lobster down his pants. I thought he was gonna chase co-workers with it. Not gonna lie, I'd find that funny. I work construction. We had 2 new hires that were friends starting the same day. Boss told one take a coffee order and come back. Took everyone's money and said he needed his friend to go with him cause it was a big order. They never came back. They quit a construction job to steal, and split, the cash from a few coffee orders. I imagine if they had stayed and worked a full day they would have earned more than that. Yeah, but it's hard work. A man was hired to do stock at a tea store that sold lots of delicate china. Manager walked into the back on his 3rd day and saw him just throwing boxes of teacups and teapots. Instantly fired. Wasn't a bull disguised as a man, was he? Am I at all? I called a temp agency to get someone to help me count inventory. They sent a guy over with a cast on his arm. That was my first WTF, but I went with it because we were just counting parts. Then I came back from lunch and this dude was in my office chair zoned out and drooling on himself with a can of air duster in his lap. I kicked him awake and escorted him out of my warehouse. Never used that temp agency again. Air duster, like most halats, can kill you in a snap. Lucky you found an idiot and not a corpse. Wait a minute, stopping oxygen from getting to your brain is. Co-worker. Smoked like every 40 minimum for like 10 minimum. Then asked the boss if he could leave an hour early because he did take his lunch break. As my boss said, sure you can, but you don't need to come back. Where I worked my boss gave benefits for workers who didn't smoke. This happened because smoking is really popular in my state. Over the last 10 years I found more and more places which hire smokers. Personally, as my job requires teamwork. Having to stop my work just because someone needs to smoke sucks ass. Not only does he not his job but I can't do it too. A 19-year-old kid got hired to work the seafood counter. See him twice and then never again. Asked a co-worker what happened. He had closed seafood one night and was walking out of the store and the 5 pounds of crab legs he'd stuffed down the back of his pants fell out in front of the closing manager. Edit, it was at a Publix. No, it was not Jamise Wiston. Did this young man happen to win the Heisman Trophy? He was intercepted by the closing manager, so yeah, it was probably him. This was just a summer job at a fast food place. We had a new girl start and within 2 days it was apparent she was an idiot and everyone knew that. You could already see the manager questioning his decision. Then on her 3rd day of work she said she couldn't come in because her mom was in a car accident and in the hospital. Turns out that's an easy thing to disprove in a relatively small town. Pretty shitty thing to lie about, let alone just to get out of work. And on your 3rd. Edit, day, 3rd day. Semi-related, but back in high school I tried to call out by saying I had car trouble and it had to be towed. My boss then says, oh no problem, I have to pick up my daughter from practice who is out your way anyway so I can give you a ride. I ended up driving my car out behind my house and parked it on the lawn to hide it and took his ride. Pretty awkward conversation with my parents later about why my car was in their backyard and my boss was dropping me off. New guy started on Monday and was gone by Friday. The guy hit some racking in the warehouse with the forklift, boss saw him do it, and the guy decided to lie about it when asked if he knew what happened. We'll get someone to clean that up. We're the ones that gotta clean it up. Damn it, Michael. The only thing he did wrong was to lie to his boss. A shame really, mistakes happen, and most employers are cool about it if you own up to it. Lying though, that's a bad idea. Edit, no castles or moats were involved. Just the pain of typing a comment on a tiny phone, sorry. I worked for a big home improvement store that I won't name, all I can say is the stores are orange. We had a guy come into work shit-faced and run one of the forklifts into the outdoor storage racks with customers around. Another employee forcibly removed him from the lift and dragged him to the back. Dude was given 2 options, walk and potentially face criminal charges or go to an inpatient treatment center on the company's dime, and his job would be there if he wanted it after he got out. I can honestly say it's the one actually good thing I ever saw the company do at a corporate level.